caminando en Nueva York. Gracias. Mirando a donde no quiero caminar, escuchando lo que no quiero escuchar, paso a paso, todo me da igual. It's not only salsa and merengue, people. Song I wrote many years ago. Woo!
Music is a part of life. Without music, life will be very boring. Ladies and gentlemen, namaskar and welcome. It's me, Mahalaxmi. You are watching the Mahalaxmi show. Today we have very wonderful musician and singer, Mr. Alejandro Prado. Mr. Alejandro, welcome to the Mahalaxmi show.
Thank you, Mahalaxmi. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Good to see you. Alejandro, how are you doing?
I've been doing good, keeping myself very busy, trying to write music and trying to entertain people as much as possible out there in the music world.
By the way, how your singing career is impacted by COVID-19?
Well, much musicians out there who perform and sing out there, due to the all the locations have been closing down due to the COVID. A lot of people have just not been able to perform outside, including myself. So it's been a lot of just basically practicing and working from home. But some musicians have been performing live, like through social networking and such. But it's always great to be in a stage or to be in a room when you have an audience. You have to have an audience for us musicians. That's where our passion is to entertain and to transmit musical energies to everybody who's out there and see what their reaction is, what you get back from them after you express yourself to them. So it's been a little bit of difficult due to the COVID, but I mean, it's been a good idea to, stay at home for a little while everything dies out like it is right now. We see it in the news. Everything seems to gradually be coming down and trying to get back into normal. I see more performances out now, and I've done a few performances so far since the COVID died down, but like for a full year, almost from the time that I saw you last, everything has been very, very quiet. Everything has been very, very mellow. But thank God, science has been successful or is succeeding, hopefully, in progress as time goes by. And hopefully I'll see you in one of my shows soon again.
Yes, definitely I will come. So
Great.
how long have you been working as a singer and musician?
It's been on and off for a while, but as far as singing, I've done it all my life. My parents, my mother and my father and my grandmother and my grandfather, from both sides, they were both musicians, so I've always been around music. Never saw myself, how do I say, becoming, when I was a child, like becoming a musician or a successful musician so much, but with time going by and improving skills with practice, I've been feeling a little bit closer and closer, to where musically I've been wanting to be. But it seems the closer you get to the point, you find another point that's a little bit higher up there. So it's a constant learning progress. So I'm still learning. There's much to learn.
You have to learn whole life. That's
exactly.
So that's great. Your whole family, they are involved in music industries. But what things motivate you to be a singer and musician?
Um, it's the being able to express yourself, having music. I wouldn't. Sometimes music, for me, music is the best way to express what's going on in my heart, in my mind. Sometimes with words, it might find it a little bit more difficult of finding the right words to express. So thanks to the music, I'm able to gather the words that I can find, and with the melodies, just combine those two, and find that peace in your soul where you're able to let out a lot of the things that you have trapped inside, your heart and your mind. uh, it's, I don't know where I would be with, if I wasn't a musician. I was born for that. Again, my family is, they're all musicians. Music is the biggest part of my life, and it's who I use to project whatever I feel inside. Without it, um, it's I wouldn't be complete. So music completes me.
Music is life, so
It is. It is. I definitely need it. It's part of my nutrition.
nutrition, yes. So, what is your biggest challenge during the music career?
I think the one of the biggest challenges for being in a rock band is the support that one is needed from musicians. Also, you finding like-minded musicians that have the same parallel focus. There's a lots of musicians, but they're all going different directions. So depending on the music that you write, you might have a certain way of writing. Uh, like some persons like to write a lot about love. Other musicians may write more about what they're seeing in the news right now. Um, so I mean, other musicians can write about what their past has been and family and things like that. So finding musicians that want to work together with you, that have that same are going parallel. That's been the biggest challenge. Also, I mean, again, there's tons of musicians, but where they're projected, where they want to take their music, um, it's been a bit of a challenge finding the right musicians. There's great musicians out there, but in order for a band to be successful, for a rock band to be successful, there has to be some parallel lines where all three or four musicians are heading. Same thing happened to with the Beatles and so many musicians out there. They all have the same appetite for a goal, and at times that could be quite challenging. I've played with great musicians all my life. With the band that you met, a couple of guys that you met. I've played with other great musicians, and I hope to continue working with great musicians and continue writing some good music.
I think our audience also want to know about your band, music band. So, can you tell something about your music band?
Mhm. Well, I was previously with a band called Materia Rustica, and we did several shows here in Florida, and we once did a show up in New York City. So it's a band that's we've haven't been playing together for about 2 years now, but the musicianship is more of a brotherhood, and we maintain very tight and communicate as friends do. So we will, one day we'll get together again and continue doing shows, in the future. A lot of people have requested for us to get, together again. Meanwhile, I've put together a band called La Avenida, which is the band that you met at the Melrose Center. And it's just, we're just three musicians, and we just been working hard on playing music that people do know, so we can create some sort of following, so they can see that we can do what we do. And but right now I'm pushing more again, leaning towards more to the writing again. It's great to play music that people know and it's very popular, that people hear on the radio and people can sing along to. But when you are a composer and you can write music, if you're not writing music, you bottle yourself up a bit. And I'm leaning again back to that feeling where I need to open up that bottle and let everything out, you know. So that's I'm getting to that feeling again where I have to start writing and letting things out. I guess it's just like a temperature gauge. You reach like a certain temperature and things happen. So it's things that have been going up in my mind. I need to release a lot of feelings, and so I'm starting to write music again. So that's where I'm hoping to take the band next is to write to compose a EP or LP and start recording and releasing original music again. It's really to me it's like the best being able to express yourself and let everything out. It's great when you sing other artists' music. It's a good feeling and people are very happy and they sing along. But a lot of those lyrics are really not feelings that have come out from you and you have written down in a piece of paper, you know. So what's going to come up hopefully by the end of this year is that we'll have our first release of about 5 songs or so.
So can you sing any song for our audience?
Sure, I can say I can say I was a no has hecho más que comenzar. Cuando te das cuenta de lo que hay, de lo que ha habido. Cuántas tonterías pude decir, pude escuchar. Lo importante son mis recuerdos. Eso es mío, más que mío. Me gusta darme cuenta de lo que fuimos. Nos dejó un gran sentimiento. Y no se puede ir. No se puede ir. Cuando quieres encontrar el camino.
Wow, wonderful,
Thank you.
wonderful, very, very nice,
Thank you
very
very
nice.
much. That song is called El Camino, and again, it's written by Sergio Alvarez and Alejandro Prado music.
Very nice,
Thank you.
wonderful. I love it. So, Mr. Alejandro, how difficult to establish as a singer and musician in this competitive music industry?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Um, ever since the COVID, this 1 year that has passed, um, a lot more musicians have been able to organize themselves more, connect with other musicians more and more.
Mhm.
So there's been more activity that hasn't been presented on stages, but everything has been more like in the underground. Uh, I see more musicians now more organized, and now that COVID has is hopefully dying down and we can get back to normal, I've been seeing more and more activity out there, more performances from different bands, musicians that I've never seen that have arrived to the States just recently. So there's been more and more competition, more people performing out there. Um, of course, each one of them projects a different style of music. It's the same tree of music, but there's been different branches. So for some people, some styles would be what they love to listen to. Then there's other styles also that attract other circles of people as well. So there's more variety, I guess. So there's more for people to listen to now than there was maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. There's more styles, there's more influences, um, which has created, I guess more genres. It's making it a little bit more challenging for other musicians. So it's been more of a challenge for me, but I'll continue working on music also, and just try to give nutrition to the people who are out there trying to listen to the type of music that I write and sing about.
So, do you think a musician and singer they can survive without other work?
If you're a musician, you're always gonna be a musician. It's just something that we naturally have to do, not just to put food on the table, but also to fulfill our needs
Mhm.
spiritually. Um, I mean, it's very hard for a musician to just live out of music. You have to be out there all the time. It's a very nocturnal life, so it can be very difficult for those who work like a full-time job in order to pay your bills and
Mhm.
pay your rent and mortgage, what have you. So in order, it's a two life. It's having two lives. One is for your full-time job, and then there's that nocturnal life that you have, which is clubs and bars and things like that. And those places are available open at night mainly. Most of these places where you have musical performances, so it could be very difficult unless you kind of sacrifice a little bit of the full-time work and try to bring up your more of your musical career.
Mhm.
You really have to sell yourself out there and meet as much people as possible. So you have to have that social life out there as well. But it's not an easy task. But if you're willing and you have the verbal communication to be out there and again sell yourself and work hard, then I mean there's definitely you could have like a five you could be your weekly schedule could be busy, very very busy, but you definitely have to be a go-getter. Have to be a go-getter.
So, after COVID, how is your music and singing career going on?
I see that the COVID has been it was a horrible it was a horrible time for all of us around the world. But there's a saying in Spanish that says "No hay mal que por bien no venga,"
What does that
um,
mean?
what they trying to say by that. If sometimes you have ahead of you very rough times that you know make things in your life very very difficult, but during those times of difficulty, you learn things and you you empower yourself more with that knowledge, and it just makes you, you know, go back, rise up again. You know, um, it's been very difficult for us, but at the same time, during the time that musicians have hibernated, also has given them us a chance to work more from home or find that extra time that we didn't have before COVID, uh, to just spend more time in your room with your instrument and writing music, whatever you know, whatever allows you to express yourself more. It has to do with more writing or just studying music and all. So during the COVID time, there were some very rough times because we're not able to perform, but at the same time, it's giving us more time to stay at home. And I guess do more homework would be probably the short words for it, you know, and progress. So now that, again, I'm going to be hopeful here that now that the COVID's dying down, and now that we're able to perform, we'll be able to demonstrate and show or bring all that out that's been out there bottled up like for a year, you know. So it's, in a way, it's been bad, but at the same time, for us musicians, it's helped us to, you know, just improve on those skills that we wanted to improve on.
That's good. That's good. So, do you have any suggestion for newcomer who want to be a musician and singer?
Definitely, it's learning and just listening, uh, playing things, you know, listening to your favorite musicians and just playing it over and over again. Sometimes, you know, when you play things over and over again, you start hearing different things that you didn't before. For example,
Mm-hmm.
um, when I was about 15 years old and I started learning about singing, it took about 10 years afterwards. Of course, I didn't have any vocal coaching, or extremely expensive to get vocal coaching. So there's a lot of things that I learned in my own. It took me about 10 years to start learning about vibrato on the voice. And I knew while my parents were singing at home when I was a child, it was a daily thing. I didn't pick it up, but it took me about, you know, 10 years afterwards that I started learning about vibrato. And that was just repeating the music that you're listening to over and over again, or different singers from all around the world. You start collecting different techniques. So I would recommend for those who are out there looking to learn about singing and playing guitar, it's, you know, don't bottle yourself up with just one style of music. There's so much wonderful music that comes from all parts of the world, and there's skills that you can pick up from them. You know, from vocalists from South Spain, from people who sing flamenco, from different singers from all over the. It could be even African music, also cultural music. It could be Southern American music, Caribbean music, music from all over the world. There's something to pick up for them. So don't bottle up yourself with just one style. There's a lot of other styles that people have been listening to for hundreds or thousands of years that you can pick up from that. And what has made that music so popular, and why do people love it so much? What is it about that singer that connects with people so much? So that's what you want to start picking up, like if it was rose petals, you know, and you start implementing that to in creating your own style. So that's what I would recommend as far as the vocals go. For the guitar, it's just constant practice. It's 4 or 5 hours of daily of guitar. That's the only way you're gonna get, you know, in anything that you want to learn about. The more time you dedicate to it, the better it is going to be. You know, just keep learning. You never come to a stop. I mean, you always got to keep going forward and learning different techniques. So keep going at it.
So, can you sing one more song for our audience?
Sure. Let me see. This song I wrote many years ago. Woo! um, This song is called Caminando en Nueva York. The translation is Walking in New York.
Okay.
All right. Which is where I'm from, by the way. All right, here we go. Caminando a donde no quiero caminar, escuchando lo que no quiero escuchar, paso a paso, todo me da igual. Delincuencia, nada podrá cambiar. Yo no sé qué nos pasó. Caminando en la lluvia a tu lado, escuchando los momentos del pasado. Caminando Nueva York, caminando Nueva York, caminando Nueva York, caminando en Nueva York.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Very, very nice.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Thank you. That is an original song. It's called Caminando en Nueva York. And it's recorded by Materia Rustica here in the Ocoee headquarters.
Very wonderful song. I love it. I want to listen
Thank
more. Do you want to share anything at the end to our viewers?
Yes, for the viewers who are out there, there's a small market of Latin rock music. So Carlos Santana was one of the great musicians that were out there back in the 70s, but it has continued. It's more of an underworld. So look for it. There's a lot of musicians that are in the Latin rock scene. It's small clubs and places like that. The radio, Spotify. You just put rock en español or Latin rock music, and you will learn. You will discover a lot of music, wonderful music that is out there. So there is a market for that. It's very small. Come over and listen to the type of music that we have as musicians. It's not only salsa and merengue, people. There's also a nice rock scene out there. There's a lot of talent, and wherever you're from, there's musicians that are from your part of the world who are also performing this music. So be supportive. Here in Orlando, we have rock and roll festivals. There's a lot of great bands here who are working very hard and recording, releasing new music. So, don't be a stranger. And again, keep varieties. Our music is one genre, and hopefully we'll get your support. But keep tuning in, and we'll be out there. Hopefully, we'll see you'll come out and see some of our shows also very soon.
Mr. Alejandro, thank you very much for being a part of Mahalaxmi.
My pleasure.
It was really interesting conversation, and I love your song. Your song is really wonderful.
Thank you for having me in the program. It was great to see you again, and I look forward to our next meetup again. And again, stay tuned for our future music that's coming up soon.
Thank you very much for watching the Mahalaxmi show. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, try to do best. Stay healthy and happy. Namaskar. Bye-bye.
lo que no quiero escuchar. Paso a paso, todo me da igual. Delincuencia.